The Donut Bag is brought to you by Penn Highway Marketplace, the marketplace for vintage goods, quality collectibles, and handmade crafts. It's where I get all my sports memorabilia. Go to facebook.com/Penn Highway. That's facebook.com/PENNHWY and mention I sent you. This is a sad day. This was the season finale of football.
Yeah,
Don't
it is very sad.
Don't give me this USFL or XFL or whatever the heck league decides to pop up.
Hey.
Okay, fine. It's just, mildly amusing, but
Right.
really this was the end of the football season. But what a finale. At least we had an interesting game. It looked like it was going to be one of the greatest games of all time. And then the end happened. Do you think that call ruined the entire game?
I don't know that it ruined the entire game, but it ruined, like you said, the excitement. Like I think it did. It was going to be up there with one of the best Super Bowls ever. I feel like anyway, because there was score. I mean, it was what everybody loved. You know what I mean? There was lots of scoring. The only thing that I was confused by was the Eagles' defense just wasn't really. I mean, in the first half, sure, but they're known for. I mean, they have. They were the biggest. They had most sacks in the whole entire league, and they didn't get any on Patrick Mahomes. Which
Zero.
Was really surprising. It was really surprising. I was looking to see him, get sacked a couple times. But to go back to your question, I don't think it ruined the entire game, but I do feel like it put a bad light on it. I mean, it wasn't a bad call. The call was correct. Don't get me wrong. The call was correct. He probably was tugging. James Bradbury admitted that he tugged his jersey. It happened. But it was so minimal. I'm sure it happened 4 or 5 times throughout the game, and it was never called. So it's like,
That's the most frustrating thing is that was the only holding call, offensive or defense, called during the whole game.
Yeah.
So clearly they had, because sometimes refs are like, call every little tiny thing, and sometimes they just, quote unquote, let them play. Well, here, they just let them play.
Yeah.
Until the most important play of the season. I don't get that. I don't get that. That just I know there's all those things about scripts and rigged and all that crap, but still, it's a really bad look.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah. And Goodell thinks that, at least he was quoted as saying, he doesn't see any. They're great.
The refereeing is better than ever.
Right. Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
The other thing that bugs me is, and they never ever call this, but when there is either a pass interference or this defensive holding, and the ball is like a mile away from the receiver or anything, they never rule that pass was uncatchable. Juju was never coming down with that. If you did not touch him, he's not coming down with that.
Right. The tug did not, the holding did not affect the play at all.
Yeah. But still an amazing game, and you already alluded to it. Basically, Philadelphia's defense let them down. Kansas City scored every single possession in the second half.
Yep, they did. Yeah, and I mean, in Jalen, it was disappointing because Jalen had that fumble, which obviously led to a touchdown, and that's ultimately what was the difference in the game. You know what I mean? Because what I'm saying? Like, Kansas City would have had one less. That was
it. That was it.
And also there was that questionable fumble. See
that one?
Fumble.
That one, I heard that 50-50. I heard some people say, "Oh yeah, that's definitely a fumble."
Right.
I didn't think so, because it's like, usually you have to you catch it and you have to like take a step or two, and he didn't take any steps. He's just like catch, boom. So okay.
Yeah, I think he took like one maybe little tiny step, but it didn't seem like it was enough to constitute a football move.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it could have gone either way. You know what I mean? It could have gone either way, but whatever.
There were a few catches that were under review that were, I mean, they tried to be on top of that, and Okay, cool. You
Right.
know, some it's like it's this question is like, what the heck is a catch? We've been debating what the heck is a catch for like the last 30 years now, and
Oh
we still
yeah,
don't know.
no question.
Yeah,
Without, yeah, it's and they even said last night they were talking about the announcers were talking to Mike Pereira. What constitutes a catch? I mean, this is 2023, and we're still asking what
right,
constitutes a catch.
right. Yeah, but that fumble by Hurts, and that's a shame because he played such a good game.
He did.
But that fumble, it was just, and how funny is it? It's an oddly shaped ball, and it just happened to bounce right into the hands of the Kansas City guy, and
Right.
it
Yeah.
goes in for, if
Yeah.
it just bounces on a different way, they probably
Hmm.
just land on it or something like that. But it
Right.
landed perfectly for him to scoop and score.
And I think I'd have to rewatch it, but I think Hurts kicked it. Maybe I don't know if he did it
Yeah, I
on
think he did. I
purpose
think he
or
booted it.
accidentally, but he kicked it maybe to get it away from the defenders.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, I kicked. No, that did not work.
Yeah, it's terrible. Uh, yeah, the Philadelphia defense, no sacks, just did
Yeah.
not do well. Also in the second half, they Kansas City ran this play where basically the wide receivers were wide open. And it's like, well, how this happened? And it's basically that's something that they found in the Philadelphia defense. They do all that motion and misdirection and stuff. It's basically Matt Canada's dream is
Right.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they just did something where the guy looks like he's going to go across the field, but he stops and he turns around and becomes
Right.
wide open. It's something that
Yeah.
they found on tape. So that's brilliant by them, by the
Yeah.
Kansas City coaches to notice that, and they're just both times they were just wide open. So really, really smart in their parts.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I was pulling, I was pulling for the Eagles. I was rooting for them, but there's something lovable about Andy Reid. Am I right? I mean, there's just something you just want to pinch his cheeks. You know what I mean? Like you just want to rub his belly or something for good luck. Or
he's just a lovable old guy.
he
just
does
yeah.
seem like that. But
he's
got enough.
I mean,
and Pat Mahomes, he's gonna end up being like Tom Brady. I'm already sort of feeling like he's the Tom Brady now of this era. You know what I mean? Like
he really
he's gonna win 1,000,000 trillion Super Bowls, and we're all gonna be sick to our stomachs about just him constantly winning.
That's why I was fine with the Chiefs losing, because now it's just nonstop about Mahomes. Is he going to catch Brady?
Yeah.
Like, oh, great. This is what we have to deal with for the next 10 years.
Right.
Great.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Andy Reid. It was just really cool for him, especially since he was the Philadelphia coach for all those years and just could not get it done. Somebody had a tweet that said, one thing Andy Reid is really good at is making sure Philadelphia doesn't win the Super Bowl.
I would say, but that's pretty funny. Yeah.
The other amazing thing is Mahomes, it looked like he got hurt again. He's coming in with a high ankle sprain. It looks like he aggravated again. He's screaming in agony. He's limping. He can barely move. Like what are they going to amputate his leg? Who knows what's going to happen? And then he comes back in the second half and has like the game of his life. Like, and then they said, well, did they shoot you up with anything? No, they didn't shoot you up. Really?
Yeah, right.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sort of reminded me of Ben Roethlisberger in a sense, because Ben would play through so many different injuries, and he seemed to kind of play.
Seemed to play it up a little bit, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, it sort of reminded me of Ben.
Maybe he did that on purpose. Maybe it was some good acting there. Like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So really, the game MVP was Rihanna, because the halftime show was so long. Maybe it gave Mahomes extra time to recuperate from his latest injury. I don't know.
She must be a Chiefs fan. Maybe that's what she was.
She was wearing red, so look like a lobster outfit, but yeah, she was wearing, yeah. So
yeah, pregnant lobster.
the pregnant lobster, yeah.
Right.
By the way, I called it. My score prediction was 33-30 Kansas City. So I'm going
Yeah.
to I'm going into the prognostication business. I'm gonna
Nice.
open up my own sports book because I'm never wrong about bets.
The Joey Donuts sports book.
The Joey don't, yeah. First time users, $5,000 free first better. Whatever those
Right.
promos are.
Yeah, I could see it.
I've used all those promos. I've done like every single one. Like every new sports book that comes in, they have some wonderful first time promo. I jump on it, and then I never go on the same thing again. Yeah. I now I have a feeling the Eagles are going to use this as motivation to come back to the Super Bowl. But then again, they're going to lose a lot of players. And now I think they might have to pay Jalen Hurts because the next year will be the last year of his rookie contract. Then they're going to have to pay him. So maybe the easy time for
yeah. And from what I gather, their offensive line is intact. Like nobody's retiring, there aren't any contracts expiring or anything. So that's good. That's good for Jalen. I know that Miles Sanders is a free agent, and he really didn't play much of a role last night. AJ Brown is still going to be there. Devonta Smith, I think maybe is in his last year of his contract or something. So I don't know about the secondary. I sort of feel like the secondary is going to be split up a little bit, but and they can't continue, doing this. Like, they had the dream team this year. This was the year to win it with the team that they have. And there are definitely going to be some important factors, that important players that aren't going to be there next year for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was the other thing we heard over and over again is, the Eagles, they're such a strong running team. They're just going to run. They're going to run down the Kansas City's throat. Yeah. And Kenneth Gainwell, 21 yards. Miles Sanders, 16 yards. Boston Scott, 8 yards. Like, really, Jalen Hurts had some good runs, but other than that,
they just their run game and their defense, like neither one showed up last night. It was just like, and again, the defense played fairly well in the first half. You know what I mean? They went into halftime 10 up, but they just couldn't maintain it. And it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I made that up. I don't know if you know that or not.
That's an Allison. I've never heard that before.
Right now.
The other amazing thing about the Kansas City's running is that Isaiah Pacheco. Man, he is a beast. And it's funny because I think like the first time Kansas City just won, they just won their first Super Bowl in a while when they beat San Francisco, and they go into the draft and they get the first round. They use it on a running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and like, oh my God, this awesome offense is going to get even greater because Edwards-Helaire is so good, and he's basically been a massive bust. But then they get this guy in the 7th round, who is awesome.
Right. I think it just goes to show, that running backs just. You can find, diamonds in the rough, you know what I mean? Like the Steelers did with Jalen Warren, you know what I mean? So obviously he's no Isaiah Pacheco or whatever the heck you pronounce that, but I think he complements Naj really well. So I think that's going to be really good for them going forward.
It is crazy. It is crazy that you could just find somebody in the 7th round or an undrafted free agent or something like that. It just seems to happen more with running backs than anything else.
Right. Yeah. And especially since the Steelers took Naj in the 1st round, of course, because, now everybody's like, oh, wasted a draft pick. We didn't need to do that. Blah, 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 blah.
Hey, at least they didn't take Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the 1st round because that would have been a total bust.
I wanted them to.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't, obviously.
Travis Kelce had 6 receptions for 81 yards on 6 targets and a touchdown. Why have we not figured out that somebody should cover that guy?
Right. I have no idea.
I mean,
he
so
was
tired
wide
of this.
open. It seemed like all the entire game, and I was like, why aren't you like, this is a trend here, people? Why aren't you, why
I would
aren't you
just tell
addressing this?
one person in the secondary, like, your one job is to see that guy and follow him everywhere. That's
Right.
it. That's your entire job. Shadow Kelsey. That's it. It's like,
Right.
oh, but their schemes are so hard. I don't care.
Right. Yeah.
I would rather get beat by Juju or Kadarius
Right.
Toney or Sky Moore or Marquez
Yeah.
Valdez Scantling than Travis Kelsey. Come
Yeah, he's
on.
a beast. He's a beast. And Philly's defensive coordinator is apparently in the top candidate for the job in Arizona. So I think it's Arizona, right? Yeah, Arizona. So poor Arizona. I mean,
Philadelphia.
obviously the Super Bowl is a totally different. It's literally a totally different ball game because you're playing literally the best team of the other conference. So it's hard to say whether it was the Chiefs or whether it was the Eagles.
It's not, yeah, but it's not just Philadelphia. Every
Right.
single team that goes against the Chiefs has Kelsey wide open on every play. Like how? Come on, people, come on. Philadelphia might lose their offensive and defensive coordinators.
Yeah.
It's huge. That's interesting. And did you see the coach crying during the national anthem?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that was maybe he was so upset. Maybe he was so emotional about the national anthem that he couldn't coach or something. I don't know.
Maybe it was. I like Nick Sirianni a lot. There's something about him. He seems like a guy you could just have a beer with. But he got a little cocky last night during the review. I don't know if you remember, like I think it was the Devonta Smith or the Dallas Goedert catch. I can't remember which one it was, but it took the longest time to review, and Kansas City Chiefs thought for sure it was going to be overturned, so they were walking back to their part of the field, and then the coach must have heard something because he went he motioned to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, come back over here.
Yeah, and Jalen was standing right next to him, and he put his arm down. Like, that's not cool.
Oh, is that what that was about?
Yeah.
I thought I saw that, but I didn't see that part. I thought he was flipping off the somebody.
Oh,
I thought he was like,
does
hey!
do that, though. He does do that. He's been known, especially to fans, like when he's in opposing stadiums and things. He goes up to the fans in the front row.
I think this was in Philadelphia, and I think this was with the GM Roseman, and like someone in the stands is like, "Thank you, Howie, thank you." He's like, "Oh, thank me. You're the one yelling at me and booing me and saying horrible things about me. So screw you."
Exactly.
That was funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that they before the game they announced the Walter Payton Man of the Year, who was Dak Prescott of the Cowboys. And they announce it, and the crowd boos because they're mostly Philadelphia fans.
Yeah. Oh man, those Eagles fans, they're fierce.
Here is the Humanitarian Community Service Award for Dak Prescott of the Cowboys.
So kind. Yeah.
Oh, Philly. That's
they're
why.
A rare breed. They're a rare breed.
Yeah, my daughter doesn't know sports at all, and she asked who should she root for. I said, well, you have to root for the Eagles. I mean, I'm sorry, you have to root for the Chiefs because in Pittsburgh people hate everything Philadelphia. So you have to root against the Eagles. You're not allowed to eat Philadelphia cream cheese. You're not allowed to eat Philly cheesesteaks. You're not allowed to sing Philadelphia Freedom by Elton John. Nothing Philadelphia.
Not the Streets of Philadelphia by Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, no, not that song either. No. Just remove that. Yeah, we hate. That's why when they were doing maps of like, here's what states are rooting for which team. It's like Pennsylvania is rooting for Philadelphia. And like, no, we're not. Cut that thing in half. That the eastern part, they're rooting for Philadelphia. We are not. Which is funny. I mean, because the Steelers and Eagles hardly ever play each other. That should be a game every year. It should be a game that they play like in the middle of Pennsylvania, like at the Penn State campus, and it would be so much fun because we love to hate each other.
Right.
It's a natural rivalry.
There'd be so many fights. So many fights.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
there's no way I would like. I don't mind going to like Philadelphia or other cities, rocking my Steelers gear or something like that. There's no way I'm going into Philadelphia with any Pittsburgh gear. I'm a wimp. Sorry, I'm not here to fight.
Right. Yeah. You value your life, right?
Yeah, I value my
live.
life.
Yeah.
I prefer not to have batteries thrown at me, so I'm not going to wear any Pittsburgh gear. Did you see any of the commercials?
I saw some of them. Yeah. Yeah. I was a big fan of the Triangle commercial.
Triangle was good.
Yeah.
Who was that? Harlow or something like that? Was
yeah.
that Jack Harlow? I forget. Yeah. In the
Yeah.
in the winner of the winner of the Triangle Award was Elton John.
Right. Yeah.
That was
really
was
cool.
cute. Did you see the one with the dog?
There were two with dogs.
There were two with dogs. I think it was
dogs, and they made me just weepy. I was like, if this dog dies at the end, I'm gonna be ticked off.
We all said the same thing. I'm like,
right.
You better not kill this dog. Don't you
right.
dare. It sure looked like it.
Yeah.
It sure looked like the dog was going to die.
It
Don't
did.
you dare. Yeah, they didn't.
Could you imagine? Like PETA would be all over their,
Oh, yeah. The one with the girl with the flag football, did you see that?
No, I did not.
That was really good. She's apparently she was like she's a flag football star, Deanna Flores from Mexico, and she's like she's wearing both flags, and this and Aaron Andrews is interviewing her. It's like, hey, you're the flag football champion. Could anybody take your flags? And then Aaron Andrews tried to grab it, and she runs away. And it's just a whole commercial of her running away from people. One of the people she was running away from was Cam Hayward, actually.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Yeah, so that was really cute.
I'll have to check that out. There's one with rabbits picking up people and putting them in holes, and it was something like, I think it was for a streaming service. I don't know if it was Hulu or Netflix or something about finding movies and going down a rabbit hole to find new movies to watch or new.
There was a commercial, I think, for Tubi where it looked like you were like it looked like you just flipped off the change channels, the Tubi. Like that is brilliant. I'll bet a lot of people got fooled with that. Did you see
everybody freaked out, and
everybody freaked out? Yeah,
at the screen, like, what is going on? Yeah, and you remember that it's Tubi because it's it was just one of those commercials that just kind of sticks in your craw.
Right. Did you see the Dunkin' Donuts one with Ben Affleck?
Yes.
Dude got some guns. Dude, he had some pretty big biceps.
He did, right? Yeah. And then
that was cute. Yeah, J-Lo pulls up.
So this is where you go when you leave the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Are you a Breaking Bad fan? I'm really not. Okay, so that was cute for popcorners. The one with John Travolta in the grease. That was I didn't like that.
Lame.
You know who has a lot of money thrown around commercials? Jesus. Where's Jesus getting all this money? Yeah,
exactly.
Where's Jesus getting all this money for Super Bowl commercials?
I know, and it was quite lengthy. And then I was like, what is this commercial for? Like, all right, what's going on? What's the point? All these black and white images. I was like, this is kind of cool. And then the Jesus thing at the end. And I was like, all right.
The one, did you see the one where it's like, hey, you're a rock star?
Yeah, that was funny.
That was cute because I hear that all the time at work. It's like, that guy, he's a rock star. And I love all those rock stars. I'm like, shut up, you're not a rock star.
Exactly.
Ozzy Osbourne goes like, hello, I'm Oswald or something like that.
Exactly.
That was.
And
funny.
I was like, is that his real name? Is it really Oswald?
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
It might be. Yeah, exactly. Who knows?
Yeah. That could have been one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, and then that questionable call ruined it for a lot of people anyway. But I see whatever. I can sort of see it both ways, but not really. Like, yes, was it a penalty? You know, did he do it? Yes. Should it have been called? No.
All I'm saying is, if you're gonna call it, then call it throughout the game. Just be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll bet that's exactly what Bradbury was thinking. It's like, well, they
Mm-hmm.
haven't called it all game, so I'm gonna get away with it
Exactly.
now.
Right. Yeah.
I did like that. I did like that they asked Bradbury, and I don't think I've ever heard this before. He's like, "Yeah, I held him. I was hoping I would get away with it."
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
usually they deny it or something
Right.
like that.
Exactly.
I don't think Bradbury's going to be with the team next year, so I guess he doesn't care. It's like, well, screw it. I'm not going to be here next year anyway, so I might as well just tell the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's unfortunate is he had such a great year. Like he was number one in a lot of defensive, areas. But now that's what he's going to be known for. You know what I mean? That's going to be a mark on his career that, is never going to really go away.
Did you see? Yeah, he was one of those guys that I think were cut by the Giants or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, they got him cheap. They got that Chauncey Gardner dude cheap. Yeah. The T-Mobile commercial with Bradley Cooper and his mom. Did you see that?
Oh, that was cute.
That was really, at first I thought, oh, this is dumb. It's like, oh, that's basically how a mom and his son are. It's like,
yeah, exactly. And she was so tiny. She was such a short little lady.
Either he's the largest human ever, or she's the tiniest human
exactly
ever.
Yeah.
I am in total shock. I thought the entire game they would show the mother, Mama Kelsey.
Right, me too. No,
not at all.
No,
not at all. That was weird. So I was curious. Okay, what about the dad? Like, they never talk about the dad. So it's like, did the dad die? What happened?
Yeah,
just divorce.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, but you would think he would still be like, they would at least show him. You would think that,
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Like, yeah, what happened?
Maybe the divorce was like he literally like left them. Like maybe
I don't know. I don't know what happened there.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing yesterday. I was like, where's the dad? What's up with the dad? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Daddy Kelsey.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Now there's not going to be football for like another 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
the draft, the combine.
Oh, the draft.
For people who care, the combine's coming up, and the draft, and then there's free agency. Like, honestly, every year this time, I'm thinking the same thing as you are. I'm like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But then the NFL just manages, with the exception of maybe that little lull between training camp and the preseason or whatever. Other than that, it seems like it goes fairly quickly, I think.
There used to be an off season. There is no off season now. You're exactly right. We'll be talking about the draft. There's a combine. Mm-hmm. There's all the stuff about the mock drafts.
Right.
Then the draft. Yeah. And then free agency. That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, and then Rodgers comes out of his hole in 4 days. Apparently, we're supposed to, if he sees a shadow, then he's leaving. Green Bay. If he doesn't, he's staying.
Can he stay in the hole? Can we like?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. Like, can you just stay there?
I know, like, Green Bay is sick of him, or just, because they went through this exact same thing with Brett Favre. Like, Brett Favre, maybe I'll retire, maybe I won't. I don't know what's going to happen. And finally, they're like, dude, just leave, just go. Yeah, exactly. Just go. I think that's what they're going to do this time. And it's like, dude, just go. I think he's going to be with the Jets, and that just makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to want to go somewhere that's a quarterback away from the playoffs and or Super Bowl. And I sort of feel like the Jets are there. They have the running back, they have the receivers, they have the defense. They're just they're just a quarterback away. Yeah.
But that's the exact same thing we said about the Broncos last year. And look what happened.
That's true. We did.
So, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny if he does go to the Jets. That's the exact same thing Brett Favre did. Brett Favre went from
Right.
the Packers to the Jets. Like you're
Yeah.
doing the exact same career move, and then I guess Aaron Rodgers will end up on the Vikings, which would be really funny.
It would. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm curious too to see where Derek Carr goes.
Me too.
I'm mainly curious because I don't know that he's all that great. Like, I don't know. They're gonna pay him all this. Whoever gets him is gonna pay him all this money. He has I think he's got a losing record as a quarterback. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it's pretty telling that basically he sucked all year with the Raiders. They bench him for the last game. They put in that Jerem Stidham, and that dude just balls out.
Right.
So
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
Carr was the problem. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen there. Maybe yeah. I could see him going to the Saints. I could see him. I did like that that the Raiders basically said, okay, we'll trade you. We'll trade you somewhere. And Carr's like, no, screw that. You release me and I'll go wherever I feel like going.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly.
Like, hey.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be an extremely interesting offseason. There's so many teams that need a quarterback.
I'm just happy that Pittsburgh isn't one of them. Could you imagine if the Steelers didn't have a quarterback with this whole Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr thing? I mean,
we went
was
through
like
this
that already. It was like that last year, but could you imagine it again this year?
A year ago, I posted, I said, here's my Super Bowl 2023 prediction. The Steelers with Aaron Rodgers will play the Commanders with Russell Wilson, and that'll be the Super Bowl. Yeah, we went through, we had 1 year of this crap. 1 year of all this is like, is Russell Wilson coming to the Steelers? Is Aaron Rodgers coming? Remember all those flirty things Aaron Rodgers is like, oh, I'd really like to play in Pittsburgh.
The glance at Tomlin and yeah.
Thank goodness we only had 1 year of that, and now we have a quarterback in the future.
Yes.
The only quarterback now we're just wondering who's going to be the backup. If it's going to be Mitch Trubisky or someone else. So I did like that. There were some stupid rumors like Deontay Johnson punched out Mitch Trubisky, and Mitch responds like, that did not happen.
Right. Yeah. I guess Mitch hadn't posted on Twitter in like 10 years. Not really 10 years, but it had been a long time.
Yeah.
And then he came on to Twitter to be like, that's not true. And then Deontay did the same thing, or I think Deontay did it first. But either way, it was like they both came out and was like, no.
Yeah.
Pony. I mean, I can't say that I'm surprised because he does this all the time. But then, of course, he came out and said, oh, I want to have this conversation. I want to sit down with Deontay Johnson and, talk to him about this and tell, apologize or whatever. And it's just like, really, dude? Like,
you don't need, come on. No, he doesn't. No. Come on, man. I actually think when he sticks to sports, he's he actually has some interesting, he has some interesting and intelligent takes, but he tries to be
too hard.
Skip Bayless. He tries to be Colin Cowherd. He tries to be Mr. Make all kinds of headlines and stuff.
Right.
Like, dude, just do your thing.
Yeah.
Just don't stop this.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's getting to the point where it's just like, come on. I mean, a lot of people are already sick of him blocking him and things like that, but it's like, yeah, you're right. Because there are some things that he actually sounds intelligent. Some things around like, hey, you know what I mean? That's kind of interesting. You know what I mean? But yeah, most of the time he's just posting things, I think, just to get reactions.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, it is going to be a very interesting off season. And like you said, there's that one period like in May or June that's kind of quiet. That's it. That's it. That's really the real off season. Otherwise it's nonstop news and action.
Exactly.
So we'll see.
Hopefully
all right.
We'll make it. Hopefully we'll survive.
We will. We'll survive. If you want to see football, go watch the XFL or the US or the Pittsburgh Maulers or something. Yeah,
exactly.
Man,
you know what?
Ew. Well, hockey. Okay. Hockey. I'm okay. It's like don't make
Sorry,
me watch
I forgot you're in Pittsburgh and that the whole.
We don't have a baseball team. So and we sort of don't have a hockey team either right now. But anyway. All right. Hey, I'll see you later.
Yep. Take care.